Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In today's video, I'm going to give you my review of the Hori Real Arcade Pro 4 Kai for the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, and PC. Before we get started, I would like to let you know I no longer have this stick in my possession, so if you would like to see this stick on video, feel free to check out my unboxing video. I'll leave a link in the description, or a link after the video is done playing. But I had the stick for roughly a 2-week period where I got a lot of heavy use out of it and enough time to give it a very fair review. Let's get started. Alright, so this arcade stick comes in 4 different colors: white, red, blue, and black. So with the black color here, there are 2 different versions to make things more confusing. A very easy way to tell if you have the earlier model is to look at the buttons. They are generally a shiny, glossy, smooth black button. The newer version has more of a matte finish to it. The buttons are different. Also, on the side of the Hori HRAP4 is a switch that says 3 and 4 on the older version. On the newer version, it'll say 3, 4, PC. So what that means on the newer version is it's additional PC compatibility. The older version will work with PC, but the newer version works much better with PC. So, if you want to save any sort of confusion whatsoever, stick with the white, the blue, or the red. Those are all the new updated version. There is no older version of those sticks. Now with the black one, it's a bit of a toss-up, so just make sure you do your homework. Make sure you find out if it's got Hayabusa buttons or Kuro. Kuro is the older version, the shiny, smooth black buttons. Now, that being said, we'll move on from there and we'll talk about actually that PC option. So these sticks have a built-in switch for PC. What that means is it uses Xinput drivers, which piggybacks off the Microsoft drivers, and makes this stick incredibly compatible with Windows machines. It ran very, very well on my PC. Alright, so very first thing I like about this fight stick is the price. It comes in at the lower end of the premium fight sticks that are available in the market. So right now you can see it listed at $199 Canadian. It's a little cheaper in the States, but for comparison purposes, a premium, the Quamba Dragon here, runs closer to $400 Canadian. The Razor, the Panthera, comes in at $260. So the big difference between the two is $60. So if you look at the Razor here, $259.99, and the Hori, which comes in, it's more of a budget premium stick, if that makes sense. It's $199 in Canada. So it's a very reasonable price point to get into the premium end of fight sticks here. So one thing I was initially on the fence about was the shape of this fight stick. It's a very rectangular fight stick with not a lot of space to rest your palms on the actual fight stick itself, because there isn't a lot of face space per se. You can see here where the buttons are located. This ridge right here is the actual edge of the fighting stick. So it goes down and this is beveled. It's not at the same level. So that being said, there's less space to put your hands, but depending on how you like to get comfortable when you're sitting in a chair and how you like the fight stick placed on your lap, some people prefer this. I actually really liked it. I was initially on the fence, but I liked it. So some people, I could see the complaint where there wasn't a lot of wrist space on the fight stick, especially in a premium fight stick for your hands. I did not see this issue myself, but I can see how other people would complain. And I'll give you an example here. The Razor Panthera has quite a bit of difference in space. You can see here between the X button and the actual edge, there is a lot of space. You can rest your full palm and probably part of your wrist on this fight stick, whereas on the Hori, there is not a lot of space. You will probably not be able to rest any part of your arm on this fight stick at all. So it just depends on your playing style and what you find comfortable, but I actually found this way pretty comfortable. I like the shape. So the next thing I really, really liked on this fight stick was the actual button shape itself. So the button shape and style are a little different than traditional fight stick buttons, in the sense that, for example, Sanwa and Sumitsu all have a smooth, glossy finish. Now the Sanwa buttons are super sensitive. The lightest press on most of those will trigger a touch, whereas these Hayabusa buttons were a little less sensitive. Now they weren't less sensitive in the sense that they weren't functional at all and you had to like really press down on them. They were sensitive, but I could graze them just slightly and it wasn't going to trigger a punch or a kick or something. So I like that. Some people might not like that. It's kind of difficult to get used to. But if you do have a fight stick and you are looking at Hayabusa buttons, I'll just say if you take a look at Focus Attack here, the buttons are $2.95 each. So maybe just order one and put it in your fight stick and try it out. See if you like it. That would probably be my best advice because it's $2.95. It's not that expensive. The top of the buttons I also actually really liked. So they are a grainy finish, whereas the, like for example, Sanwa has the smooth finish. So these offer a little more grip on the top of the buttons. You can really feel the button. I actually really liked it. It was a little different to get used to because even on controllers, those generally have smooth buttons. These are a little grainy on the top. It's just, I guess it's personal preference really. So again, if you're buying this fight stick, you can always swap out the buttons if you like Sanwas. Buttons are, you know, a dime a dozen, well, $2.95 each, so they're not very expensive. And you can just swap them out if you don't like them. And that's another great thing about the Hori RAP4. You can just unscrew the bottom, open it up, swap out the buttons, and it's not a big deal. So that being said, the Hayabusa buttons I really liked. Do I like them better than Sanwa's? It's a toss-up. Really, it just comes down to personal preference. I didn't perform any better or worse by using Hayabusa buttons. Now, one thing I actually didn't like on the Hori RAP4 Kai was the Hayabusa joystick. So a lot of people like it, and there's a lot of people who also don't like it. The thing I didn't like about it was the fact that the stock joystick itself was very, very loose. So I like a stick that has a little more tension in it, and you can fix that by putting a different spring in the joystick itself, but the stock joystick was so loose to the point where you could bring it all the way left. Okay, so you bring the joystick all the way left, then you'd let it go and it springs back into position. But the problem is, if you brought it all the way to the left or to the right and let it go, it would spring back, but it would slightly go over to the other side. And in some cases, it would actually trigger the movement going the other way. So you could bring it all the way to the right, let it go, and then it would trigger the movement on the left side. So for example, if you dashed forward, let go, then you might take a step back. It was very, very frustrating and very weird to get used to. It was one of those things where I would actually, if I were to continue to use the stick, I would have had to change out the joystick or bought a different spring to go in it. Some people really like that though, and they like the feeling of the joystick itself. I didn't. That's not to say it's bad, it just wasn't to my personal taste. Now, moving on from there, one thing I really liked as well, I'll try to bring up the picture again. This door right here at the very top, I liked the storage container for the cord, so it was nice and clean. The cord does not detach in this fight stick, so that's a bit of a con, for especially those people traveling around, but it does have a door where you can put the cord itself. One thing I did not like about the door though is that it's held on by the flimsiest and cheapest of connectors. So the door is held on by these two tiny little plastic pins, and I found the door popped off very, very easily and often. And also, these two little pins that hold the door, they can break extremely easy, and then your door just won't work. You'll have no door, so it'll just be more of a crevice where you tuck the cable, and it's not really going to stay. So I would say that's a bit of a concern as well. You know, if you are just using this at home, it's not really a big deal. But if you're taking it to tournaments and you're taking it out and maybe even to a friend's house, I would be concerned if you're using the door on this quite a bit. If you're just leaving this hooked up to your PS4 or hooked up to your PC and then just leaving it that way, it's absolutely fine. Don't worry about it. but if you are bringing it around, the door is not built very well. So the things I liked about this fight stick, first and foremost, were the Hayabusa buttons. I also liked the overall look and design. I liked the PC compatibility. It was just a plug and play when in PC mode. And I liked the price. It's at the very lower end of the high premium quality fight sticks, and I did like the price. Things I didn't like about it. The Hayabusa joystick. I just felt it was a little too loose. I prefer a joystick with a little more tension. And I also did not like the cord storage door. It was very cheap and very flimsy. There are also some things to consider. So, first and foremost, there is a non-detachable cable. If that is a make or break for you, then you might want to look elsewhere. It is very difficult to add custom artwork. You will have to peel a sticker off, clean up the residue, order a plexi to go on top, and then insert your artwork that way. Also, the Hori RAP4 was just released. So here's a picture of the Hori RAP4. It is roughly in Canada $30 more expensive than the Real Arcade Pro 4 Kai. Now this is a slightly different shape, as you can see. It's more of a boxy shape than a rectangular shape. Now as to whether or not I would recommend purchasing this fight stick, I would honestly say, given all factors considered, for a basic fight stick in the premium category, for the price point that this one is listed at, it is worth it. If you're just looking for a basic fight stick, you just want a basic premium fight stick, then this one's worth it. If you're looking for something to customize, if you're looking for something with, like, for example, detachable cables, or all the bells and whistles, easy access to change the buttons out, this might not be a fight stick for you. If that's the case, I might say look at the Razer Panthera. You can see right here, it's just one button to open it up. It's got a detachable cable, you can see right there. So, if you're looking for something with more bells and whistles, if you're looking for something that has absolutely everything you want in a fight stick, I would say go for something more expensive. However, if you're just looking for a basic fight stick in the premium fight stick category, I would definitely recommend the Hori RAP4. That's all I've got for today. Thank you, everyone. Take care.